You ever open your banking app, see a decent number for once, and still feel weirdly nervous? Like nothing bad is happening. Your rent is paid, your credit cards aren't maxed, but your brain still whispers, yeah, but one bad month could wreck this. Or maybe you've hit a point where you're not broke anymore, but you're definitely not comfortable either. You're not panicking, but you're not relaxed. You're saving, but still checking prices at the grocery store. You're doing better, yet somehow it doesn't feel as good as you thought it would. If that's you, this video is going to explain exactly why. Because here's what most people don't realize. When your net worth hits around $25,000, something very real changes. Not just financially, psychologically, and almost nobody talks about it. My name is Smith, and I spend way too much time thinking about what really changes after your net worth hits $25,000. If you're someone who works hard, saves money, but still feels stuck between barely surviving and actually secure, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now look, I want to be clear right up front. This is not a $25,000 makes you rich video, because it doesn't. But it does quietly change how the game works. And if you understand what actually shifts at this level, you can use it as a launch pad instead of a plateau. Here's the assumption most people make. I'll finally feel secure when I make more money. That's the lie. Because what actually changes your financial behavior isn't income, it's buffer. And $25,000 is often the first time many people have a real one. Not a hope nothing goes wrong buffer, a structural buffer. This is where it gets really interesting. What $25,000 in net worth actually means. Let's break this down with real numbers. Net worth is simply what you own and what you owe. So $25,000 might look like $10,000 in savings, $8,000 in retirement, $7,000 in home equity or investments, or $18,000 cash, $7,000 investments. The mix doesn't matter as much as the existence of it, because statistically, most people don't have this. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, nearly 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without debt. The median net worth for people under 35 is under $15,000. So when you cross $25,000, you're no longer playing the same game as the average household. You're playing a slightly upgraded version. Not easy mode, but no longer survival mode. The first real change, your brain exits survival mode. Here's what most people don't realize. Your financial behavior is heavily controlled by your nervous system. When you're broke or close to it, your brain operates in scarcity mode. Scarcity mode does a few things. You focus on short-term relief. You avoid long-term decisions. You overvalue immediate comfort. You underinvest in future gains. This isn't a character flaw, it's biology. Studies from behavioral economists like Sendhil Mullainathan show that scarcity reduces cognitive bandwidth, meaning when money is tight, your brain literally has less capacity for planning. Now here's the shift. At around $25,000 net worth, something subtle happens. You stop asking, how do I survive the next 30 days? And start asking, how do I avoid going backward? That's a massive upgrade. Why it still doesn't feel good yet. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but if $25,000 is so important, why do I still feel anxious? Great question. Because this stage is psychologically awkward. You've escaped desperation, but you haven't reached confidence. Think of it like learning to swim. Before, you were drowning. Now you're floating. But floating still requires effort. You're aware that one job loss matters. One medical bill still hurts. One bad decision can undo years of progress. So your brain stays alert. That's normal. And honestly, that alertness is protective as long as you don't let it turn into paralysis. The second change, you stop using debt for small emergencies. This is huge. Before $25,000, emergencies often mean credit cards, BNPL, borrowing from family, payment plans. After $25,000, you start paying cash for problems. Car repair, annoying but not catastrophic. Medical bill, stressful but manageable. And here's why that matters. Every time you don't use debt, you break a negative feedback loop. No interest, no minimum payments, no lingering stress. That alone can save you thousands over a decade. A simple math example. Let's say before this stage, you put $2,000 emergency on a credit card at 22% APR. If you take 18 months to pay it off, you'll pay roughly $350 to $400 in interest. Now multiply that by car repairs, flights, medical costs, random life chaos. At $25,000 net worth, many of those costs shift from compounding against you to being absorbed. That's not flashy, but it's powerful. The third change, you begin thinking in risk tiers. Here's what most people don't realize. Wealth isn't about returns first. It's about risk management. When your net worth is near zero, everything feels risky. Investing, changing jobs, saying no to overtime, spending on education. At $25,000, you start categorizing risk. You subconsciously think, this is uncomfortable, but safe. This is annoying, but recoverable. This is dangerous. Avoid. That mental clarity didn't exist before. And that's why people at this stage often finally start investing consistently, negotiate salary, switch jobs strategically, take calculated risks instead of emotional ones. Why people stall at $25,000, the hidden hidden trap. Now let me be slightly frustrated for a second, because this is where a lot of people mess up. They hit $25,000 and relax too much. They think, I made it. So progress slows, lifestyle creeps in, saving gets casual, investing stays timid. But $25,000 is not a destination, it's a bridge, and bridges are meant to be crossed. This is where it gets really interesting. Statistically, the jump from $25,000 to $100,000 is faster than from $0 to $25,000. Why? Because you already built habits. You already proved consistency. Your expenses are mostly stabilized. Your fear is lower, but still present. That's the sweet spot. The danger zone is comfort without momentum. What you should do immediately at $25,000 net worth. Here are clear, actionable steps, no theory. 1. Lock in a true emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of real expenses, not idealized expenses, actual ones. This protects your progress. 2. Separate growth money from safety money. Your brain needs this distinction. Emergency fund equals untouchable. Investments equals long-term, volatile, purposeful. Blending them creates anxiety. 3. Automate aggression. Increase savings or investing by 1 to 2% every 90 days. Small enough to tolerate, big enough to compound. 4. Track net worth quarterly, not daily. Daily tracking fuels anxiety. Quarterly tracking builds perspective. The psychological shift you should expect next. Here's the good news. If you keep going, something else happens around $50,000 to $75,000. Money stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like a tool, but only if you don't stall here. Look, if your net worth is near $25,000, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not behind. You're not lucky. You're not almost there. You're early. Early in the phase where money starts working with you instead of against you, but only if you stay intentional. So here's your challenge. Don't change your lifestyle yet. Don't chase flashy upgrades. Don't slow down because it feels okay. Use this stage to build momentum, because the next $25,000, that's where things really start to compound. If this video helped you understand your money or your mind better, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and comment below. What changed for you when you hit your first financial milestone? I'll see you in the next